11,471. That's how many coasters are listed on RCDB, the roller coaster database. This website is generally considered to be the most complete collection of roller coasters in the world, featuring what most people would consider to be every single roller coaster in the world. Of course, with such a large number, that means that there's going to be some oddities. In this series, I want to touch upon some of those, but we're not just meaning weird rides. Some people can know about things like the spinning Jesus coaster and the Ukrainian hentai coaster, but I want to go deeper, into the obscure, the oddities, the stuff where the Google results are in the single digits. Throughout 2023, I'll touch on one new bizarre roller coaster each month. Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, and welcome to Weird RCDB. Starting out this year, we're going to take a dive over to a country that in itself could probably have a whole series dedicated to their coaster weirdness, China. This won't be the last time China appears in this series, but it might just be the oddest appearance. The story of this month's adventure begins with 7-Star Park, located in the Qiqing district of Guilin.
Guilin.
Guilin is a major tourist destination for China. It's a place that's traveled to for its gorgeous mountains, beautiful caves, and scenery that looks like it's straight out of a Ghibli film. There's actually 3 amusement parks in the city. 1001 Fairyland is the newest of them, opening sometime between 2006 and 2011. They have 2 operating coasters listed on RCDB, but neither has any notable information. They also had 2 coasters that no longer operate, a Jungle Mouse and a weird model from Jingbei Amusement Equipment called a spinning yacht. The second park is Guilin Maryland Theme Park, which opened sometime around 2004. They had a Jinma spinning coaster until 2015, but their only operating coaster now is a Zaire Tivoli. The last park of Guilin is the focus of this month's episode, 7-Star Park, and their coaster, Pine Forest Flying Mouse. Let's go over the actual ride of Pine Forest Flying Mouse before diving into the rest of the park. This is one odd bugger of a coaster. As the name suggests, it's a wild mouse, but it might just be the worst maintained coaster that I've ever seen. It's entirely rusted to hell and looks straight out of a Left 4 Dead 2's carnival level. Something that you'll notice as being a common trend in this series is that most of the coasters on here don't have any height, speed, or length measurements on RCDB. This one just has a very helpful note that the coaster has 0 inversions. Pine Forest's layout consists of a couple of small dips and tight hairpin turns. The track of it is kind of interesting too. Instead of being traditional steel tubular track, it's built more like RMC track. Okay, I know that's a big disgrace to RMC, but I mean it in the sense that the track sits on top of the support and connecting structure instead of being part of the structure itself. Maybe a traditional railroad is a better analogy for what I'm meaning, but yeah, it's interesting. The trains of Pine Forest are also pretty odd. They're 2-seaters that have people sitting in line like a bobsled coaster, but none of the pictures on RCDB actually show more than 1 person in the trains. Well, 1 actually does, but that picture has 4 people sitting 2 across like in a normal wild mouse. That picture's the oldest one on the site, dating back to 2015, so maybe between then and 2018 the train design changed. The last noteworthy thing to mention about Pine Forest is the characters of it. Is it just me, or do they seem a bit, familiar? Now, I'm not saying that this is obviously Timothy Q. Mouse from Dumbo, or that this is Mickey Mouse with a clown nose. I'm just pointing out their familiarity. Now, something that I didn't realize until trying to find some additional sources for this coaster is that there's actually a lot of Pine Forest Flying Mice. Well, there's 42. They're all listed as being part of the Jungle Mouse model on RCDB, which has a total of 492 coasters listed as it. This one doesn't have a manufacturer listed, but I still wanted to find out who it was. The very top Pine Forest Flying Mouse on RCDB is one at a park in Shanghai. They look pretty similar, and this one does have a manufacturer listed, Guangdong Zhongshan Kangol Entertainment. This company exclusively built Jungle Mouse coasters. They have 2 different models listed, but I have no clue what the difference is between them. Conveniently, RCDB has a link to their website right on the manufacturer's page. If I had found a different Pine Forest or Jungle Mouse first, then this video may have been about a whole different park, but I'm kinda happy this was the one I found, because there's very few primary sources for it, and that's what makes research much more fun. It does look like someone beat me to the punch of bringing this coaster onto YouTube though, as a channel by the name of Cole Lindbergh made a brief video about it back in August 2022. They only touched on this stuff directly from the RCDB page for it though. There was another source for Pine Forest Flying Mouse, however, a travel report page on Theme Park Review. This one was a trip report from the user, TheAngryDarrenMullins. In it, Mullins made a note of some of the oddities in the park, but also something else interesting. Quote, I learned that the 2 coasters listed on RCDB for 7-Star Park were not the coasters I rode. Continuing with, quote, "It seems there are or were 2 amusement areas at 7-Star Park. I haven't touched on the rest of 7-Star Park, but now seems like a good time to. 7-Star Park isn't actually just an amusement park. It's an amusement park that's inside of a zoo, but that zoo isn't just a zoo. It's part of Qiqing Park, which is located right in the center of Guilin. Not a lot of information is really available about any of this online, so the only date I can give for an opening is sometime before 2005. The park originally opened with 2 coasters, Crazy Flying Mouse and Gliding Dragon. These are the ones that Mullins was referring to, although these 2 were removed sometime between 2011 and 2013. They were replaced in 2011 with the 2 coasters that stand there now, Pine Forest Flying Mouse and Ant Kingdom. Actually, let's talk about Ant Kingdom some, because that's another oddity of this park. It's another coaster that's in pretty bad shape, but it does look like it has some neat theming in a couple parts. It's a wacky worm sort of layout that's half indoors, half outdoors. The indoor section seems to be where the best bits of theming seem to be, although really, it's just a couple of paper lanterns on top of old tires. The best part about researching this coaster is that there's a total of 2 sources for it on all of the internet. The first one is the RCDB page itself, and the second is a Coaster Friends page. Unfortunately, it's all in German. Fortunately, it's really short and there's only 2 lines of text. Well, that's not really fortunate. And that's it. That's all that there is on the internet for Ant Kingdom. Even searching their names in Chinese text brings no more results. This is a trend that's going to become common with this series, a lack of sources. When researching, I like to find as many sources as possible so that I can tell a cohesive and historically accurate story, but it's really difficult to do so in a world of one-page Google results. In future episodes, I should be able to tell more cohesive stories. I know some of these do have some more information about them, and definitely more interesting tales to tell. To sum it all up though, Pine Forest Flying Mouse is an incredibly sketchy jungle mouse coaster located at 7-Star Park in Guilin, China. The park is also home to Ant Kingdom, a wacky worm-styled coaster that's half enclosed and half open. Unfortunately, the park has very few available sources on the internet, so not much is known about this park outside of RCDB. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. This is a new series idea that I'm trying out, and I'm not entirely sure how I want these videos to go in the future. If you have any ideas of what I should add to these videos, please let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, I'm Atomic Coasters, take care and ride on.